What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday? Gonna have a good show because another quarterback drafted in the 2023 NFL Draft was benched yesterday. That would be Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts. And he's the second because Bryce Young was benched over a month and a half ago, I guess, at this point. And Will Levis is the only man standing from the guys that haven't proven themselves because CJ Stroud's not getting benched anytime soon. So the conversation is shifting quite a bit. What is the leash on these young quarterbacks? And really, the microscope that the Titans' philosophy surrounding Will Levis is going to be put under based on one team in the division and the Carolina Panthers as well. And it's not just these two quarterbacks that were benched. It's other quarterbacks in the trend over the last 2 to 3, maybe 4 years of the NFL and what they're doing here with quarterbacks at a very young age in a big picture conversation, but really, how does it or what does it mean for Will Levis? So we'll talk through all of that. Are the Titans regressing? If we have time, we'll get to Brian Callahan's thoughts on if the Titans are getting worse or just being exposed for who they have been. And then it is a Wednesday, which means trivia. We will try to do better with our trivia. It has been a struggle. I don't know.
We weren't that bad last week. Are you just mad we haven't been perfect?
I have a higher standard for trivia. I don't know if in the summer, I feel like we were kicking trivia's ass. I don't know if now we're more distracted.
What's more important to you, time or getting 9 for 9?
Both.
Okay. It's because like the last 2 times our times have been good. We've just missed 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah, I know. But
I've got a good feeling about today.
Okay, don't worry. Good. I'm glad you do. I have no idea what to feel because the trivia is a wild card every week. So, all right, Easton, before we dive in here and get things going, tell the people what they got to do.
Yeah, what's up? Happy Hallows Eve, everybody. I just realized Halloween's tomorrow. How about that? Hope everybody's doing good. Good morning to you all. Help us out this morning if you are with us live, as I'm struggling to speak. Hit that like button on Facebook, on YouTube. If you're with us on Twitch, join us in the comments. Like the show. Easiest way that you can help us out here on the A to Z Morning Show to get as many people in here as possible. And then join the comment section where Curtis and Omar, Steven, Danny, Titan South, Yuri, Scott, and others are already here sharing their thoughts with us. Good morning to you all. Appreciate you guys being a part of today's conversation.
Yep. And without further ado, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freeze, one of our Titans reporters for A to Z Sports.com. And we are Nashville's on-demand sports network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans, get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans, fbhp.com/ATOZ, and TDOT, be part of the solution to end littering across Tennessee by visiting NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. So to kick off today's show, Anthony Richardson was benched yesterday. The Colts deciding to go with Joe Flacco instead of the second-year quarterback out of Florida, Anthony Richardson. Now, to set the table on this, very strange situation on Sunday as Anthony Richardson does something I've never seen a quarterback do before, which was tap out because I need a blow. I'm tired. I need a break. I'm out of breath. Now, look, Anthony Richardson was making plays. He was running around. But still, never seen that in my entire life. And he said, to be honest, I was tired. Like he was very
that was the part, right? Because I'm pretty sure it's happened before. It's admitting it afterwards. Because there have been times where a quarterback has just been like, oh, they're not in for a play, and then they're back in, and we're all like, that was kind of weird.
I think
and then they're just like, don't worry about it. I thought, I tweaked an ankle or, but he was like, yeah, I was tired, man. You can't say that.
I think it's more of like, if that happens, it's usually like, all right, let's just run a simple handoff. Like not a stretch.
Usually, yes.
Just a quick dive, and then let me catch my breath, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, I was tired. I had to come out. I was tired.
Which you can't say that. You can't
say that, and
you can't do it. You definitely can't say it.
For sure. So very strange overall. It was a bad statistical game for Anthony Richardson. He has not been great overall. I still think I will need probably Big Ten Jeff, the Colts fan, to fact check me on this. But I want to say the Colts have still won more games with Anthony Richardson leaving the game early due to injury than they have with Anthony Richardson finishing the game. I still think that's a true stat.
If that stat was true recently, it has to still be true because they've not won games with Anthony Richardson. So there's no wins to put in that column.
There you go.
So
it is still true. So they
It's
have
gotta be.
won more games where he has left the game early than they have with him finishing the game,
right.
which is crazy. So now he's benched.
And I'm also wondering, is it also true that they've just won more games with another quarterback, period? Like
Gardner Minshew and Joe Flacco. The answer
yeah,
is yes.
I kind of think definitely, yeah.
Right. So
like how many games has Anthony himself won start to finish?
Like 2.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a strange situation, but Anthony Richardson benched the second quarterback in the 23 draft class to be benched. The top pick, Bryce Young, benched after week 2, which was crazy. You, Sam, and I were revisiting that timeline in the pre-show meeting. And then pick 4, Richardson benched yesterday right before the end of October, leaving CJ Stroud as the only first-round pick to continue to play, and then Will Levis, who has not played the last couple of games because of injury. So it is a problem in the NFL. There's 2 quarterbacks being yanked very, very quickly. So, Easton, I know that there's a bigger conversation to be had here, so I'll kind of let you set the table for us all for this meal that is about to be quarterback development conversation. And what does that mean for Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans? Because I think I think people should care about the conversation that's going to be had today, because I don't know what it's going to mean, but there's an outcome where Will Levis is the quarterback beyond the season if you're trying to be patient. Yes. So, Easton, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, and just as we all suspected, besides CJ Stroud, Will Levis, obviously the last guy standing from this draft class. Nobody had any reservations there. I have a lot of conflicting thoughts on this topic, and it's basically centered around this tweet that I sent yesterday. My basic thought from an NFL trend standpoint is this: that the NFL has never been less interested in real quarterback development. Everybody that talks about taking the patient trial by fire approach with quarterback development is full of crap. Impatience from fans, I think, has promoted a culture of impatience that's seeping into the halls of power, the decision makers, coaches, GMs, owners. And it does feel like we're nearing a breaking point, Austin, if we continue to give up on young, raw, talented players really early, increasingly early. Eventually there's going to be more and more, like, this is the year where everybody's like, oh wow, look, Baker, Sam Darnold, Geno, look at all these first round talent guys that teams have found in the free agency bargain bin that turns out they're still first round talent guys, and they come pre-cooked developmentally from their first or second stop that was too impatient with them. Or also, I think some of these guys just poor places to develop as a quarterback. The New York Jets, not a great place to develop as a quarterback, it turns out. And if you continue to see that happen, which I'm not, it's early in this trend, I'm just kind of forecasting. I think that if we continue to give up on guys this quickly, they're going to be successful retreads down the road. And we have our very own example here in Nashville with Ryan Tannehill a couple of years ago in 2019. Like, he was a retread that turned out to be a really, really good, serviceable starting NFL quarterback.
Yeah, but like I think with Tannehill, he was able to earn the second contract with the Dolphins, right? And then it got to the point to where the development did not break through. He is Ryan Tannehill.
It's an imperfect example. That's fair,
right? It's kind of like what the Jags are looking at with Trevor Lawrence. It's like he did enough to get the big deal, but then you're like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and there's also big injuries in there too that
for sure.
That.
Without a doubt.
But my point, I guess, is if we continue down this road where the Anthony Richardsons and Bryce Youngs and Trey Lances of the world, and they may just all stink. So that's where I have conflicting thoughts, because this also is in line with just traditionally we go into every draft quarterback class, Austin, and we're always warning ourselves, like, history tells us 1, maybe 2 of these guys pans out. Just the way that it works. There's only 32 starting jobs. There are already a lot of talented quarterbacks in place in the NFL. So you've got to unseat those guys and you've got to live up to the standard of those guys. And so, like, you know, there were 4 big quarterbacks drafted in the 23 class, and it looks like 1, maybe 2, but almost certainly 1 is panning out. That tracks. That tracks.
The maybe 2 is a very, very confident opinion.
The maybe part is entirely just that it's not even been 2 years yet.
Yes,
that's all that it is.
Right.
But yeah, it looks like it's almost certainly 1 for 4, and that historically is kind of the hit rate. So I do think it matters, and I do think that the fact here is whether it's fair or foul. And we're going to ask this question in a minute. Teams are giving up on quarterbacks quicker than they used to. The culture in our lifetime, certainly in your lifetime, you old man, there were plenty of teams that would sit on quarterbacks. It used to be that you just wouldn't play, right? You'd sit like Jordan Love in Green Bay. You would sit for a year or 2 or 3, and then you'd come in.
Seems like Green Bay has done it.
Right. I mean, Mahomes was like the most recent example of this, and that was a unique situation. And then there were the next iteration of that was you would play, but we would give you we would eat crap with you for a couple years and give you 30 games before we truly gave up on you. And now it's guys like Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young, who, Bryce Young ended up getting 18 games, Anthony Richardson, 10 games before the plug is pulled. So we're trending in a serious, guys just don't get time anymore. I guess.
No, and it's not just the 2 we're talking about that's happened this year, right? Because Trey Lance got very little time. Now he did have a unfortunate leg break that derailed a lot of things, and then they happened to just strike gold with a lottery ticket and Brock Purdy along the way. Justin Fields, we know what happened with him. Benched, traded, and then now benched for Russell Wilson, who is having a resurgence in Pittsburgh. So then you have Will Levis. He's not benched. Sam the Block.
Tweet was incorrect.
Tweet was wrong, but
people think this, but they're wrong.
Yes. Yeah. Zach Wilson benched, Mac Jones benched, and Kenny Pickett benched and traded. So the accurate part is the NFL does have a quarterback development problem. So I think it's the Tennessee Titans are now by themselves in we're going to be patient. We're still going to be patient.
So far. Yeah.
And now Austin said, Andre says, show the other tweet, Austin, that shows how many young guys are starters. Like, look, it's not everybody because there's CJ Stroud worked from day 1. Jaden Daniels worked from day 1. Caleb Williams, it took a couple weeks, but it's working. And then you see all the other young guys that have earned contracts that are playing at a high level. It doesn't seem like there is any middle class, right?
Right. The point isn't the young guys can't pan out. The point is that as a young guy, as a rookie, if you don't immediately work, there's no patience for you. Right. And there used to be. And there used to be patience for guys who didn't immediately work and turned out to be all-pro Hall of Fame players, which I made a graphic on the fly here, also we can share in a minute. But there are examples of guys still playing in the league that are epic quarterbacks that statistically sucked at first. Sucked out loud. And this is not just like another look at Josh Allen. It's more than Josh Allen. He's one of them, but it's more than him.
Okay. What's the graphic you made on the fly?
Sure. So I'll just go ahead and put it up. Yeah. So hopefully people can read this. You may have to zoom in, but this is a list of first round quarterbacks. I don't know, in the 2000s, I'd imagine, or close to that.
You're going back to my old man days with Donovan.
I'm seeing some older guys. Maybe not. It is recent first round quarterbacks. EPA per dropback. It's the bottom of the list, and highlighted are some notable names. Like you've got Anthony Richardson there, 41st overall, Josh Allen, Carson Palmer, Tua, Trevor, Matt Stafford, all the way down there at negative 0.12 EPA per dropback, which is a crazy low number. These are all guys that this is through 10 games because it's an Anthony Richardson chart.
Okay.
This is what these guys look like through 10
games.
First 10 games, first 10 starts. Ryan Tannehill on there as well, by the way. So
there are good quarterbacks on this list, but there are more bad quarterbacks than good quarterbacks.
And that's where the conflict comes from, because it's not true that every quarterback will be good if only you give them time. Definitely not. That's not what we're saying. What I am saying is that if the blanket statement is that we're never going to be patient, there's going to be some of these guys that become retreads for no money for other teams, and they work out.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I have not seen or thought about the name Patrick Ramsey in so long.
Yeah, how about that? How about Joey Harrington all the way at the bottom?
Joey Harrington was on, I think, one of the first covers of the NCAA football game back when I had my PS. I think it was just PlayStation.
Just PlayStation, yeah.
maybe early PS2, But
Okay.
Patrick Ramsey.
I'll be honest, I've never heard of Patrick Ramsey in my life. I have no idea.
Does anybody know? I know this first round pick from, Patrick Ramsey from the old Tom Jackson and Chris Berman game.
Okay. What year are we even talking about? I have no frame of reference on Patrick Ramsey.
He is from Tulane. I just wonder if I can go down here and just name the colleges for some of these guys. Joey Harrington, Oregon, Christian Ponder, Florida State. Let's see.
Byron Leftwich. Is that
Byron Leftwich went to Marshall.
Okay.
And then you got Josh Freeman, Kansas State. Don McNabb, Syracuse. Byron.
Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich. Did I just answer that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's all the obscure guys.
Yeah. There you go. So
well done.
That's my thing there for a second. All right. So I think it's pretty wild. And the whole point is that you can suck in your first 10 games.
Something I'm not familiar with. That's not true. I was around for the 90s. I was around for just under 2 months of the 90s. I loved the 90s. The 90s were great.
You can suck in your first 10 games and still be good. Right. But
odds are you won't be.
Odds are that you're just going to suck. And so was Will Levis on that graphic?
No, he is better EPA per dropback through his first 10 games. He'd be above.
He's better than McNabb.
Believe it or not. Yeah, he's not bad enough to be in this bottom list.
Okay. So, all right. So here's the question. I want to get you guys more involved because we're going to play a video as well from Shane Steichen and from Chris Ballard of the Colts. But we want to ask you guys this question. Are the Titans smart or stubborn to stick with the patient quarterback approach against the NFL's trend? Are they smart or stubborn to stick with the patient approach against the NFL's trend that we've been talking about, this morning? So we'll get to your opinions. I'll put up a YouTube poll as well. We'll play the video from Steichen and from Ballard here in a second. But first, Farm Bureau Health Plans is where you should turn for your health coverage needs. Farm Bureau Health Plans, fbhp.com/ATOZ. That's our link for you to go get a quote, take a quick health assessment. You find out a quote, whether it's for you or your family. And once you get in with Farm Bureau Health Plans, you're locked in for life, baby. That's how they work. And you get great benefits by having a tremendous company that is Farm Bureau Health Plans that served Tennesseans for over 78 years, work for you and your family from day one that you join the Farm Bureau Health Plan group too. So they are phenomenal, great customer service, even on the marketing side that we work with here with A to Z. They're great at being communicative and being team players and being all about the result. And the result is better health coverage for you for a better rate for you, which is a win on everybody's side. So if you're looking to get better coverage and save some money on that health coverage, fbhp.com/ATOZ is where you should turn.
We're also brought to you by BetMGM, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans. Sign up today using our bonus code ATOZ Sports. Receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win with your first bet. Whether you're cheering on the Titans at the stadium or watching the game at your favorite Music City sports bar, you're always going to be able to get in on the action with that BetMGM app right in the palm of your hand. Nothing better than a Titans win, except perhaps the thrill of winning at BetMGM. Enjoy the best parlay selection options, boosted odds specials, daily promotions, and so much more. Download that BetMGM app today. Sign up using code ATOZ Sports and experience the football season like never before. BetMGM, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans.
All right, Easton. So are the Titans being smart or stubborn with their patient quarterback approach? As we've talked about, a lot of young quarterbacks not getting time. Here is Colts GM Chris Ballard on Anthony Richardson right after he was drafted 4th overall just 2 drafts ago.
But let's don't expect him to be Superman from day one. And I think history shows there's not many of them that are Superman from day one. Some of them it takes 2-3 years to become a really good player. It's probably the one area where I've seen it, and this is even before me even being in a league, but it's the one area where teams that the pressure for these guys after 1 or 2 years back, 10, 15 years ago, guys would get year 3, 4, 5. Think about it. Terry Bradshaw, he might not have ever played in today's NFL. It took him time in Pittsburgh. We got to let these guys develop and play, and they're going to have some struggles, and then they got to work through the struggles. And eventually their talent, the more they play, their talent will come to life.
So there's Chris Ballard. Look, I think it's hard to disagree with anything that Chris Ballard said there.
Well, tell that to Chris Ballard today because he doesn't agree with Chris Ballard.
Well, and I think here's the thing, though, because what are the Indianapolis Colts? Right? Like this.
What are they? What are they?
They are right in the thick of things.
Sure.
4-4. They are 500. They have lost games where their young quarterback has not been good enough. They've won games where their old quarterback has been good enough. And
they've also lost to the Jaguars with their old quarterbaback.
Yeah, but he also put up 34 points. What do you want him to do? Score 41?
Do they have the same defense when either guy plays?
No, I'm not saying it's all Anthony Richardson's fault.
No, I'm not even trying to cope for Anthony Richardson. I'm saying this team is signing up to lose a first-round playoff game with Joe Flacco. Congrats, I guess.
And so this is the interesting thing. I think it depends on two factors on why a young quarterback is benched, and we'll get to the thought here from the chat about Smarter 7 on the Titan side. But two factors will get a young quarterback benched: either the owner is reactionary, which we've seen with David Tepper, and we absolutely know Jim Irsay is that.
We know a lot of owners that way, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, not all, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are not. But they
not all. But it's
but
like
I'm saying the Pittsburgh Steelers are not reactionary ownership because they have had 3 head coaches the entire time that the NFL's merged, and they moved on from Kenny Pickett. Why? Because I think the other thing is the locker room, and this is just me.
Yep.
It's the locker room.
No, this is true.
If the locker room is not willing to waste and be patient with Anthony Richardson or insert young quarterback name here, and they think that they are a playoff football team with a better quarterback, the locker room will be the reason why they switch. What I don't know is, and what I think the only way it would be reasonable for the Colts to go with Flacco instead of Richardson is because the locker room is going, yo, look at the games we're winning with Joe. Look at what the Browns did last year. Look what we did with Gardner Minshew last year. Anthony needs more time, but we don't have more time, right? If you're a 29, 30-something-year-old vet, you're like, I don't have time to wait for Anthony Richardson. Not my career. And so if the locker room wants to win right bleeping now, that is the move. And so it could be Irsay being impatient.
It is Irsay.
You think it is?
It's Irsay and Bow. Yeah. Yes. Again, that video we just listened to was 10 Anthony Richardson starts ago. 10. And Chris Ballard opens with saying, don't expect him to be Superman right away. Some guys take 2 or 3 years. And then 10 games later, he's completely changed his tune. No, of course not. Of course not.
Look, maybe.
It is a combination of Irsay, who we know is, a quirky guy. And I do think there's something to the locker room element of this, because it's not just in this week's instance, it's definitely not just the level of play. It's the whole situation. When was the last time we already said, when was the last time you saw a quarterback take him out of a game? When was the last time you saw a quarterback center in the post-game press conference criticize and throw their quarterback under the bus? Because that's what happened in that game too. Like the signs of there being more to this. Like I think there's more to this benching. I think there's more to this benching in particular right now than just we think he's developmentally it's not working. 100%.
Well, but it's also the Colt put the C patch on Richardson's chest, right? That's not a one person making a decision, and so I think
if he's not living up to that.
And maybe with the Colts example, it's both the locker room and the reactionary ownership / front office. Maybe it is both.
I think that it is.
And it can be. But I think with the Pittsburgh Steelers moving on for Kenny Pickett, they're like, this guy's not very good. And we have a roster ready to go right now.
When he got a
And
lot more than 10 games, right? Like that.
Kenny Pickett?
Yeah.
I mean, not much.
He got 2 full seasons, didn't he?
Mason Rudolph played a lot of games towards the playoffs last year, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And then benched. Let's see. Let's find out.
So, Kenny Pickett didn't get a lot more. I mean, 2 seasons is 30 plus games. I don't know how many.
He started 24 games in his career.
So he got a season and a half.
Yeah.
Season and a half. And
he got 2.5 more games than Anthony Richardson got.
Look, Richardson's a very quick pull. And I don't know. And is it done with him forever? I don't know. Like
statistically, it is. I saw the Indy Star publication up in Indianapolis did a research project yesterday, going back to 2000, first round quarterbacks that have gotten benched with their original team. There have been off the top of my head, I think there have been 76 of them, and 2 have ever come back to play a single start for that same team.
Yeah, so I think it's done for Richardson.
Oh, I think it is too. And then they're saying today, like, we're not done with Anthony Richardson. We're not giving up on the guy. Okay. Yeah.
So that's an outlier. That's even an outlier of the quick pulls. Richardson.
Oh yeah, I bet if you did like games started of that list of 76 guys, he's top 5 for sure.
Well, I mean, you're looking at the guys right now. I mean, we know that. I mean, Trey Lance is probably quicker, and we know that Levis hasn't been benched, as Sam Block is inaccurate on that. But like Trey Lance was injury involved, and so was Anthony Richardson. Was injuries involved too? But like that's part of it. Like Trey Lance was a freak injury of like a leg break. Like what are you going to do?
Right,
that happens. Anthony Richardson was continuous injuries that happen over time,
for sure.
Years.
I was talking with somebody in the league about this yesterday. What is just so maybe the stupidest part of this to me is that everyone saw this coming. No, but even the staunchest Anthony Richardson supporters in the draft, myself, I mean, I thought he was the best quarterback in the class, personally. I fell in love with the traits.
Don't do it.
Even if you believed in him, he was like the most raw quarterback ever. Like ever. Yes. He had played so few games. His stats were so mediocre. You were betting on this incredible ball of clay eventually turning into something beautiful. And so my question to the person in the league was, if we know that this is the culture, that you're not going to get time with somebody, why would you ever draft a guy like that, let alone draft him in the top 5? And the answer I got back was, that question right there is the reason why most teams would not have drafted him, and certainly would not have drafted him in the top 5, because they know that's the reality.
Because he's not good. Going back to my
but more than that, Austin, the fact that even if he was good, you weren't going to get time to find out in this culture. You weren't going to be able to find out. It wasn't going to work for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was the quarterback a good college quarterback? Yes or no? If the answer is no,
I know this is your shtick, yes,
and they're not Josh Allen, then they're not going to be good in the NFL. It's black and white. It is outside of Josh Allen.
You should write an article.
I don't write anymore.
Come out of retirement. It's a good take.
No, it's okay. It's a great. I talk better. That's it. Are you good are you a good college quarterback?
But are you understanding my point?
No, I understand your point, which is why I thought it was dumb that why SEC fans knew Anthony Richardson and Will Levis weren't going to be good quarterbacks in the NFL, because we watched them play against our schools.
Right. Okay, but let's take Josh Allen for example, because he's your outlier, right?
Yes.
That he was drafted 2018, so we got that 6 years ago. Very different NFL
7th
today.
Overall.
Yeah. I mean, the culture is definitely different.
Josh Rosen got caught up in that spin too and spit out. He was
this is true. This is true. Yeah, and he, I mean, but he still was traded after 1 year for what was like a 3rd round pick. Like he went and got a second chance, and it just turns out he blows. And I think that was something that,
because being a good college quarterback does not mean you're good in the NFL. It just means maybe.
For sure. But if you and I were fortune tellers and were able to see Anthony Richardson was Josh Allen, obviously it appears he's not, but let's say we knew that. Still, if you and I were decision makers, we would never have made that decision to draft him 4th or 7th or wherever, because we know in today's NFL, no one is going to put up with him for 2 years figuring it out. No one's going to do it.
Yeah, I think the difference with Josh Allen is he went to Wyoming. and you were saying like, what is Wyoming? And
But it's not about college. It's about what they do in the NFL.
No,
People don't care once you're in the NFL.
I'm talking about like the draft part, because I'm saying like, why Josh Allen was at Wyoming. He was a man amongst boys. He was doing some crazy stuff. It was kind of like a little bit like Malik at Liberty, but the NFL learned, right? In 2018, would Malik from Liberty been a higher pick? I don't know. Maybe he'd been first round, maybe not 7 or top 10, but he probably wouldn't have fallen to the third. But we learned that you can see more even with the lower level of play. So with Mitch Trubisky, with Anthony Richardson, with Will Levis, with these other Power 5 / now Power 4 schools, if they're not good at that level, they're not going to be good in the NFL. Jay Cutler was good at a bad school, good in the NFL.
True.
Right?
True.
Like you can be on a losing team and still be a good college quarterback.
Right. I feel like we're making
Patrick
two different
Mahomes
points here, because I'm not arguing with you over that.
For sure.
Like, okay, yeah, because what I'm saying is, regardless of where they went to school, if you and I were the GM of a team and our evaluation of Josh Allen today was the traits are awesome, we think it's going to work, but we know he's going to be raw as hell and maybe suck for 2 years, we would never in 2024 draft him in the top 10, top 5.
Probably
because
not.
unless we were at one of like 3 organizations where we felt like we could get away with it, we would never ever do it, because you would know they're never going to let us play this out.
Here's a good example. Who was in Josh Allen's same draft class, who was picked 32nd overall?
Lamar.
Right. And there was a question about Lamar Jackson on, is he translating to the NFL? Because he's a Heisman Trophy guy. He's a freak. He put up like stupid NFL video game stats at Louisville.
Right.
Does it translate? And they took the Ravens trading back into the first round to take him at 32nd overall. And so you saw a little bit of that there. But I think Josh,
and he had the luxury of sitting behind a guy for almost a full season. That was also
being used being used differently behind Joe Flacco.
Well, and in the modern NFL, if you have that sexy modern ability to, don't care if you can throw, but if you are elusive and can run, I think you buy yourself more time. Because look at Justin Fields. Like if he was just a pure pocket passer and had none of that running ability, his leash would not have been as long in Chicago.
And Josh Allen's the same thing, right? And so is Anthony Richardson. But Anthony Richardson got hurt.
Right. He kept
and
killing
Josh
himself.
Allen. If you work out, likely you stayed healthy. Trey Lance, North Dakota State, right? Had a very small sample size, but you liked the traits, but he got hurt, so you weren't able to find out.
Yep.
So all right, let's get back to our question, because there's been a lot of poll answers and we've gotten kind of
sorry guys. Yeah.
But hey, I think it's been good. Are the Titans smart or stubborn to stick with the patient quarterback approach against the NFL's trend? Are they smart or stubborn? Easton, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the poll results.
Yeah, what's the poll say?
The poll says 75% smart.
The people get it. The people get it.
Honestly, surprised me. 75%.
Is it surprising because you disagree, or surprising because you didn't think they would think that?
It surprises me because I feel like people are looking at Will Levis and are ready to move on.
Right, but it's about the process here, not the guy.
I know.
Yeah. I'm proud of the people. Well done for separating your opinion on Will Levis and understanding the process of it all.
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll back up to the very to where the comments were.
Oh, I've got it. I've got it pulled up here. Yeah, so Nicole started us off. I mean, and it's not everybody. Nicole and Brandon think that they are being stubborn in all caps in some cases. But Rashid, Guy, Steven, Duran all say smart. A number of people saying smart because it's a tankier. What's the point? Smart, keep tanking, says Dad to the bone. IR Hoshi points out Peyton Manning was horrible in his first year, has the rookie record for interceptions. Still, smart this year, it's tankier, says Andre. So the comments are kind of in that same vein. I think 3 out of every 4 people in the comments are thinking this is a smart process. Even though I'd imagine if we pulled the smart people in the people saying smart in the comments, what are your opinions of Will Levis? The majority of them, if not all of them, are negative, but it's about the process here.
So you obviously think they're being smart.
This is the same conversation we've had since the beginning of the year, is that there's no point in moving on from Levis this year. You live and die. You live and die by Levis from a long-term standpoint. You have to. What make the argument for moving on this year. Make the argument.
Like currently this season.
Like, yeah, make the argument for for in 2 hours we get to the press conference with Brian Callahan and he says, actually, we're gonna rock with Mason Rudolph the rest of the year.
I don't know. There is no argument for
It's not
this
a good one.
season. No.
Right.
I think the argument is after this season for 2025.
Sure.
That is where things get dicey. And that's where I don't know.
Just from a development process standpoint, sticking by a guy.
Yeah. None of us know what's going to happen over the next 10 games for the Titans, how many of those Will Levis is going to play.
Right.
And what he's going to look like and where they're going to be drafting and who's going to be on the board at quarterback when they're on the clock, wherever they're drafting. And so
the fact that you think it's going to be dicey to me sounds like you think he's going to, because if his bar is not raised at all between now and week 18, there's nothing dicey about it. Right.
Right.
But it sounds like you think he's going to make it at least a conversation. Some fans are going to be bitter clingers at the end of the year, and they're going to point to certain games and be like, look at that. Look at the New England game. Look at that second Jacksonville game.
Okay.
It sounds like that's what you think. I don't know.
I think Will Levis when he returns from the shoulder injury, I think he will play better than he did before the shoulder injury.
Low bar. Yeah.
Low bar. But there's a couple reasons. I think there is no pressure.
For sure.
Right. So it's
house money.
Do your thing, man. Right.
Yep.
I also think that there's a level of freeness that Will Levis has from something I know that could open him up to playing.
You in this storyline is so funny
to playing better.
So funny. Talk about writing an article. You should come out of retirement for that. Write that article.
I think Will Levis will have I think there is a chance that his next game make people go like, oh, damn. Like, look at not like, I'm not saying Falcons. I'm not saying Falcons performance. I'm just saying like, oh, there he is.
There's a starting quarterback.
It's going to be like what we said like a month ago is that he's going to hit a 300-yard drive off the tee box down the center of the fairway. And you're like, hell yeah, I know exactly what to do now.
18th hole, we're coming back tomorrow.
Do that every time.
Exactly.
I think we're going to have one of those in the next 3 games.
People in the comments are mad at you for your illusions.
So that's what I think.
Okay. I agree with you.
But I don't know what that means.
I think it's going to be kind of a Chicago Bears-y situation.
Exactly.
Not quite, right? Because I think for Will Levis to get to that same echelon of where Fields ended the year last year, what I'm alluding to, in case folks are like, what is he talking about? The conversation in the spring where certain Bears fans were like, stick with Fields, you're 2 years in, keep developing. And then they had the first overall pick. And of course they go with Caleb, which was the right decision.
Right.
Yes. Because of the Panthers trade. But if the Titans, are in position to draft one of these top 2 quarterbacks this year, and Levis did an admirable job at the end of the year, putting a couple things on tape, we may be having those conversations about because here's the other thing. This quarterback, there is no Caleb Williams available, right? That was a big part of the Bears situation. It's Caleb Williams. You draft Caleb Williams.
And I don't think Will Levis is going to perform as well as Justin Fields did.
I don't either.
So I don't think it's going to be, and there's no trade with the Carolina Panthers to have the first overall pick. So it'll be different. And so, all right, there's a super chat that I want to get to that's really good.
Okay.
And there's 2 of them that I like where it takes the conversation for us here in a second. And then we'll maybe talk about regression or if the Titans have regressed or not here momentarily. But do want to tell all of our people here watching the show about T-Dot. And if you're a Tennessean, you can help T-Dot keep Tennessee beautiful by being a part of their solution to end littering with their campaign. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Litter is a massive problem. We've all known that. If you're driving around the state, you see litter all over the place. We can all help by not littering ourselves, picking up litter when you do see it and putting it in one of those bins, appropriate bins across the communities that you have, or you can join a local cleanup that NobodyTrashesTennessee.com has set up for you. TDOT is investing in this. They're working hard. They're spending money every year to make sure that we keep our state beautiful, because there's something, if you're going on a walk or something like that with your dog or your family or whatever, and you find yourself looking over some hills in Middle Tennessee, like, damn, this place is sick.
Gorgeous.
It is cool, right?
Especially in the fall.
Then,
I mean, come
yeah,
on.
like right now it's amazing, but there's litter everywhere. So NobodyTrashesTennessee.com is how you can be a part of the solution in littering across our state. NobodyTrashesTennessee.com is where to go.
We're also brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. Sign up using our bonus code ATOZ Sports today. And if you want to bet on the Titans as a favorite this week, one of, 3 times this year they're going to be a favorite, maybe less, you can do that at BetMGM. Sign up using our bonus code ATOZ Sports. They're going to insure your first bet up to $1,500 so that you can bet with confidence and get that money back in bonus bets if that first bet doesn't hit. BetMGM.
All right, speaking of Super Chat, these are not one of the two that I
clicked the wrong thing. Ignore that.
There you go. Cody is a super chat that is not one of the two I was talking about. But Cody said if the Titans lose the Pats, is Callie in the hot seat? We're not going to talk about that.
We will discuss that next
week. I will say this though. The Patriots just won last week. Bad NFL teams rarely win back-to-back games.
This is true.
That's just how stuff works. So Curtis asked the question, what benefit does starting Levis give you?
Okay.
And I'd like you to answer that question first. And Noah has a super chat that I really like the direction of, because that's a bigger picture on this quarterback leash conversation. So answer Curtis's question. What benefit does starting Levis give you?
Yeah, the benefit is that no matter what happens as you start him, it steers your ship in a viable direction for the future, right? Because if he works, obviously the outcome where he works out is great, because then you have a quarterback of the future and he's on a rookie contract. Cool. We all understand that. If he doesn't work out, you are setting yourself up the best possible way, because if you're not working out, then you're not winning games, to move on from him and find a starting quarterback, a franchise quarterback of the future going forward, right? The idea with the Colts, for example, and why I think it's so foolish for them to bench Anthony Richardson is because their options were either ride with Richardson this year and not have a quarterback at the end of the year and be looking for a new one, or ride with Flacco now for the rest of the year, get to the end of the year, definitely not have a starting quarterback of the future, and be looking for a new one with a worse draft pick because you won more games with Flacco. So the point is, why win games with a guy that we know Mason Rudolph is not the future of this team, obviously. Right. The Colts know Joe Flacco at 107 years old is not the future of their team. So you stick with a guy that might be, and if he's not, then you're set up for the future.
I think Richardson's not ready to play yet, right? Clearly. The Colts obviously think that if they have Joe Flacco, they can maybe make the playoffs.
They have to think that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they would do this. So if Joe Flacco is 40, 39 or 40, he's probably 39. Not going to be back. Yeah, 39. Yeah. So I'm not going to make him 40 before he's 40.
That's right.
So I doubt he's back next year in Indy. I believe it's a 1-year deal. So why not, if you're the Colts, see what happens with Joe Flacco at 39. Sorry, Joe. And if you make the playoffs, awesome. Great. See what happens. But you still have Anthony Richardson year 3 to build around. The thing that you're risking,
you're not going to go.
I agree, but
how do you have even if you do plan on going back to him in year 3, how can you possibly build around him? How can you put serious money on the table to build around that guy?
But they've already got good weapons.
Yeah,
like that. It's like what holes do the Colts really have offensively?
I gotta say the entire defense.
Offensively, because you can draft a good defensive player in the teens.
Sure.
You can draft a good defensive player if you lose in the wild card round.
You can.
So I think that's kind of my guess on what the Colts are trying to do. Do I agree with it? No.
I'm a lot more cynical than you. I think Chris Ballard's a bad GM who is desperate to cling to some modicum of relevance. And so he's happy to go 8 or 9 wins every single year and say in the offseason, oh, we were so close, maybe next year.
Yeah, buy himself a year. All right, here's Noah's super chat that's really good. He says the issue for him is with Levis is that he was drafted seemingly with a different system in mind. Much better off play action with how the system was last year. You now need a spread offense, quick game QB, not Will's strengths ever. So we've talked about this a little bit, but Noah lays it out really nicely on the topic for today. But Brian Callahan took the job, one, because you take head coaching jobs that are offered to you, and two, because you have an opportunity to work with a quarterback that has the talents and the traits. And I don't think Brian Callahan, and you're around Brian Callahan at these press conferences more than I am, I don't think Brian Callahan would he have taken the job if he just hated Will Levis as a prospect?
Yeah, it's hard to say because you're right. There are only 32 of these and you don't get offered them often. But, there are the Ben Johnsons of the world that keep saying,
Ben Johnson's
no,
like,
thanks.
I'm not interviewing, right? And maybe Ben Johnson did not interview because he's like, nope, don't believe in Levis. I don't know, but he denied the interview.
Yeah, I think there are two schools of thought that you got to take it if it's given to you because it's so hard to get. But I mean, if you're an offensive guy and you hate the quarterback in place, I don't think you just say I don't care. I do think that that's a question for you. So, but I mean, to this situation's point, he didn't hate Levis. He came in and was strong about how he thought we can work with this. But Noah's point about with this different system in mind, I mean, Noah said seemingly a different system in mind. Now you can just say that obviously, I mean, it was a different coach. It was a different offense that he was drafted into. He was drafted with a different system in mind.
Yeah.
And that was a big question for us. As much as we loved the idea of year two Levis, as much as we loved the idea of Callahan and being an offensive coach, there on my old show, we were talking like the first week of the Callahan hire about how, man, I wonder what his offense is going to look like, because if it's just going to be bringing Cincinnati's offense and putting it in Tennessee, the Joe Burrow offense, I don't know if that works for. I think it's kind of an apples and oranges quarterback styles between Burrow and Levis.
Peg, and hole.
Right, and so far it's kind of looked that way, right?
And then you have the idea, because Sam and I talked a lot about Liam Cohen, offensive coordinator. Now, Liam Cohen was not going to take an NFL OC job that did not have a play calling responsibility to it. And he took the one in Tampa because Todd Bowles, defensive guy, and is calling plays for the Bucs with Baker Mayfield, and the Bucs are legitimate if they have healthy receivers.
Right.
Yeah. They were healthy
before everyone died. Yeah.
Before they died. Before the knees got taken out. So, but again, like would they, alternate universe, if the Titans hired, who was another Aaron Glenn? Like
one of the candidates. Yeah. Aaron Glenn was one of them.
Let's say they hired Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
Hired Aaron Glenn, and Liam Cohen came in as offensive coordinator. That's probably better for Will Levis.
Perhaps. Wait, so who I didn't hear you. Who was OC?
Aaron Glenn, head coach, Liam Cohen, OC.
Just from a fit standpoint, I think you're right. Yeah.
There's probably a better immediate.
I mean, Liam Cohen is literally the guy who's gotten the best out of Levis historically. Right. So it's hard to say no to that.
So, but that doesn't mean that Aaron Glenn was the right head coach.
I don't think you can hire with that in mind, right?
Yeah, you need
to hire with the future of your franchise in mind, and not the quarterback.
You have to hire the head coach with the quarterback in mind,
but not as the primary thing. I don't think.
Because in my scenario, you hired the offensive coordinator first.
Well, it depends on what the quarterback you have is. Like if you're the Chargers last year and you have Justin Herbert, he's Justin Herbert. You are hiring with Justin Herbert in mind because he's locked in. He's your guy. With a Will Levis, who's very much not locked in, I don't think that you make that decision based on him necessarily. It's part of it, but it's certainly not your primary thing.
I think the quarterback position is part of it, not necessarily the quarterback person. Because it's either Levis or it's not. But the guy you hired in Brian Callahan will be able to either find out if it's Levis or not, and then go draft another guy or sign another guy.
Right. Just out of curiosity, I just reminded myself of all the guys they interviewed. I'd forgotten all this, man. Brian Callahan, Aaron Glenn, we mentioned. Ben Johnson denied the interview. Giants OC Mike Kafka, the guy that looks like Nosferatu. Baltimore Ravens DC Mike McDonald, who took the Ravens or the Seahawks job. Antonio Pierce, who stuck with the Raiders, and then Dan Quinn. I forgot that they interviewed Dan Quinn before he got the job in Washington. So, anyways, just out of curiosity.
No, I mean, again, I just think like the offensive system is different, to Noah's point. So, yeah.
Can I ask you a question that I had about this whole conversation about quarterbacks and the time? I'm curious because it's a college element. I'm curious your opinion.
Yes,
You're a
you
college
absolutely
guy.
can. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who you can turn to, who you can trust. That's the experts, the doctors, and all the resources they have in Franklin off of I-65 and Highway 96, right next to Williams Medical Center, boneandjointtn.org.
Also brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Use our bonus code ATOZ Sports today when you sign up to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets, and you can bet to your heart's desire. I bet Austin has an answer to my question, which I was going to pose. So we've established that you don't get time in the NFL anymore. You have to work out immediately, or it's tough sledding. Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of people because it was a big discussion on Twitter yesterday in the wake of the Anthony Richardson benching. Some people were just saying, man, given the NIL situation, just stick in college. Just stay in college as long as you can as a quarterback, which I understand on the surface. But another part of the conversation I had with this person in the league yesterday was like, another part of this is that colleges really suck at getting quarterbacks ready for the NFL. Like they really suck at it. Most all of the systems really, really suck. And yeah, it's not their job. But it's increasingly worse in college. They're so tilted on winning college the college way. Who cares what they're not working on footwork. They're not working on processing pure progression passing. It's none of that, man. It's just lean into the gimmicks and win a national championship for college. Yep. So I don't know if
hash marks to your advantage. Like
right, exactly. Those you get as wide as possible. Josh Heupel. So I guess the question is, does it actually make sense for college quarterbacks to just stick in college as long as you can? I don't know if they're developing you there either.
I mean, I think everything is dependent on the situation.
Where you're actually at, right?
Yeah, like Quinn Ewers is going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I think Quinn Ewers is going to be a massive test balloon for all of this because he's at Texas, massive school, high expectations, highly recruited guy, big traits, first round potential label on him, but shaky, and Arch is behind him. And he's young. Quinn Ewers should come back to school. He should not come out of school this year. But if he stays in college, where is he going? Because I don't think Arch Manning's sticking around behind him for another year.
He's not playing in Texas, brother.
Yes, it is
he
somewhere
else. He could go
full
Bo Nix and go play for Oregon or something. Just bounce around.
Yeah, but now that's his third school. And so now you're saying, okay, are you going to draft a guy to run your school or to run your NFL team who's played in 3 colleges? You can do 2, right? Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, two school guys. Penix, 2 school guy. Hendon Hooker, 2 school guy. There's a lot of 2 school guys in the NFL that are fine, but 3 school guys?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example of one.
Joe Burrow, 2 school guy.
Right.
Baker Mayfield, 2 school guy.
I mean, a part of that is just the nature of the
Cam Ward's 3rd school. Now,
did he start at those other 2 schools? Did he do anything at those other 2 schools?
I don't know if I count Cam Ward because
did he get a cup of coffee?
His first school was basically JUCO.
Was it actually JUCO? What was his first
it was
school?
like D2. I'll look it up. Cam Ward.
But he did play there, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Okay.
He played at Incarnate Word, right? Like
Incarnate Word.
That doesn't count. Right. So he played at Incarnate Word and then went up to Wazoo and then he went to Miami.
Okay. Yeah, I mean and I also think that's a result of the transfer portal culture, right? Because before 10 seconds ago, you weren't going to 3 different schools and then going to the NFL. It wasn't possible, really.
Like Cam Newton was JUCO to Florida to Auburn for 1 year. Like that doesn't count either. Like 2 school guys. Dylan Gabriel is on his 3rd. That's a good one, Brad. Dylan Gabriel is a favorite for the Heisman Trophy right now. 3rd school guy, UCF, Oklahoma, Oregon. I don't think he's a NFL player. Oh, Anthony says Newton was at Florida. Yeah, but he got kicked out because he stole a laptop.
Hate when that happens.
So, like, again, Cam Newton's different. Like, Cam Newton didn't move schools like Quinn Ewers did twice because of football.
I think you're going to start seeing this now, Austin, though, just because of how much guys move in college as opposed to what they used to do. I think you're going to start getting 3 school guys in, and it'll be fascinating to see if that stigma is broken.
But Russell Wilson, 2 school guy. Justin Fields, 2 school.
Because how old is Ewers actually? Is he 20?
He's like, I think he might be 21 still. I think he just turned 21. Yeah.
He's in my head, he's older than that.
Nope, he's young. So
he's 21. Yeah. Wow.
Quinn Ewers is going to be interesting because Cam Ward, yes, technically 3 schools, but Incarnate Word, and then but like Quinn Ewers he left Ohio State
situation.
Huh?
What was his previous school situation?
Ohio State, he was just buried.
Right, I was about to say, did he do anything there, or was he just kind of around? Okay,
he was just there, didn't have a chance. It was kind of like
you hold that against him. I don't know. If your college career is really playing a couple years at Texas and then playing a couple years at Washington State or whatever it is,
but I think that. But to your question though, should you with NIL should you stick around in college as a quarterback to try to develop more? You could.
But are you developing more is the question.
Who does that school have behind you?
Oh, I think the question is what system are you in? Because there obviously are certain systems. Because I'm talking about just what's the best path to be as developed as possible for the NFL by the time you get to the NFL.
I think you need to start like there's a cutoff of like I don't know. It's like 22 full seasons, which is like 20. Like Levis started 26 games, which is 13 seasons, junior and senior year. Regular season plus a bowl game.
Right.
So like that you think is enough.
Should be.
But still not a lot.
No.
So look, it's going to it's going to be wild because
interesting.
I think there are some.
And like Andre says, go to a school that runs a pro style offense. Obviously that's like, you're right. That's my point is like, you're going to be better developed at certain, like, everybody knows Josh Heupel is not developing NFL quarterbacks in that system, but where are these pro style systems in college?
And what is a pro style system?
Well, so the one example I got from the guy I was talking to yesterday was like Joe Brady was doing a good job of getting guys ready when he was in the college ranks, a better job than most. So like that, the LSU Burrow years, that was a relatively pro style system.
2 year, yeah.
But that's kind of the closest you get to a pro style system. It kind of feels like.
Matt says Michigan. Jay says Kentucky.
Michigan, sure. Kentucky. We think that? I don't know. Maybe I'm not up on Kentucky.
Iowa State is not a pro style. Go look at it. It's not.
Iowa State, is that what they say?
Iowa State is not. They are very much a spread out quarterback run. Iowa. We're going to go to Iowa. They're a punt style offense.
That's right. They're a Pittsburgh Steelers style.
Georgia is. I think Florida State tried to be, and it sucked. And Andre says Kentucky was with Cohen. Yeah, but that was like 1 year.
When we say Georgia is, like, look at the rich tapestry of quarterbacks they've put out recently.
And I think Jay says, like, what is Texas running? I think that's the hard thing too. Because like pro style, what is pro style? Because like Mike Vrabel ran a pro style, but we're like, this is archaic, modernized. And so what is pro style?
Well, it's more than that. It's not just what does the offense look like in the context of the quarterback development. It's about, are they emphasizing footwork to you? Are they emphasizing processing pure progression passing, or is every play an easy button? Because you can hit easy buttons. I mean, you can win a national championship with easy buttons. They did it last year. Michigan did. Are they preparing you to do the hard things in the NFL that you're going to have to do? And at almost every college, the answer is absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're a good quarterback developer, you're probably not coaching in college very long.
Right. And the economic, I mean, the market incentive right now, if you're a good quarterback developer, is really not to work in college or to work in the NFL. This is why Jordan Palmer makes a gajillion dollars every year.
To be an individual
This is why, my friend Sean McAvoy, who's Malik Willis's quarterback coach and is a quarterback coach to a number of other big names. Like, that's why those guys, there's an industry for quarterback development because there's such a gap between the development in college and preparing for the NFL.
Guess what? Those guys don't get fired.
And that's the other thing is you can't get fired. Exactly. You get known for the guys that work and people forget the guys that don't. It's a good setup, actually.
Yeah, it's a great job. It's a great gig if you can get it. Noah comes back. He says pro style systems are typically more QB reliant and look more traditional and less gimmicky. Think Colorado, Georgia, Texas typically involves reads and less schemed up plays.
True.
I mean, but every play is schemed up.
It's not
spacing. I mean, every play has to have appropriate spacing.
You're not exploiting the spacing elements of college. You're not doing
tempo. You're not manipulating based off tempo and skinny hash marks.
Basically, you're not doing anything that Josh Heupel does at Tennessee. It's like Josh Heupel's like, what if I was the least pro style offense ever?
Okay. You know what? Fix it. And this is the college game would have to change again.
I don't blame the coaches at all. Of course,
Josh Heupel's like, why wouldn't I use the hash marks to my advantage?
Absolutely, it's working.
But here's the problem: it's never going to happen. What I'm about to say is never going to happen because it's not the college football's problem; it's the NFL's problem. If the NFL wants to have better college quarterbacks, then change the hash marks.
They're not going to
because college is like, no, why?
That's not even the reason though, Austin. I had an enlightening conversation with somebody at the combine last year.
Okay.
That I didn't realize this, but it's really simple. The reason why college will never make the hash marks narrower and look like they are in the NFL is because if they did, 95% of quarterbacks would drown immediately. Can't handle it. The level of quarterbacking, the lower level of quarterbacking in general in college is so reliant on the spacing that those hash marks give you that like
it would be a
95% of college quarterbacks can't throw outside the numbers or across the middle of the field like an NFL quarterback can, which is what they'd be forced to do if you moved the hashes closer to the center of the field. They can't do it. It is a handicap for the quarterbacks.
To improve the college game.
Yes, the college football would be unwatchable if you made the hash marks look like the NFL.
The majority of college football. You would have like 6.
Everyone would be Iowa. You'd run and play defense. There'd be no passing.
Yeah, and nobody wants that.
There'd be like 2 quarterbacks a year that would be capable of passing.
But again, that's what I'm saying.
That had never crossed my mind. And then when somebody said it to me, I'm like, that makes so much sense. Yes, of course.
But it's also like, I think we're both right because we're making different points. Yours is more like deeper than mine, but like
your point's fair too. Is that
college game's not going because why? No, because we're like so fun. Like, why would we take away?
Well, I think we're making the same point because it would be less fun if they did that. Yeah, they'd be an unwatchable product.
The college game is no longer broken from an entertainment standpoint.
Mm-hmm. And you can get mediocre passers to you can college your way to a mediocre passer being electric. Diego Pavia can pass effectively in the NFL. Excuse me, in the college ranks.
How about this take? Diego Pavia. Future Olympic flag football quarterback.
Oh, give it to me now. Where do I sign? Love it. Love it.
Okay, good. I'm glad you like that. Because that dude is not going to lose a flag football game his entire adult life.
No, he's kind of built for it, right?
No, he's perfect. It's amazing. Yeah. I love it. He's so good, unexpectedly good. All right, a couple more super chats here. Noah adding it's not A or B reads, basically talk about pro style there. And then Cloud House just says, Easton, can you ask Callahan why he still has 5 tight ends?
We have asked this. The answer is because the same reason they gave us at the beginning of the year, that they think those guys were the best guys on the team. Now, 2 of them are inactive every Sunday, which, you can ask about.
Not every Sunday.
Excuse me. All but one Sunday.
Not every Sunday. All right.
All but one.
We
successfully made a full show out of that. How about it?
I know. That was fun. We had a little 19 or 2000s quarterback college trivia.
It was a nice reprieve from talking about the day-to-day of this football team.
I mean, we spent an hour talking about special teams yesterday, Easton. So
I know that's why this was a nice little break.
Yes. All right. Let's see how we can do with some trivia. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Shout out Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Easton, are you ready for some trivia?
Here we go.
All right. Sharing. Boom. Quality transition.
It bodes well for us.
Let's see if we can keep it rolling. So NFL will start us off. I will take the first category after NFL for so snacks and candy. So
Snacks
Jeff,
and candy.
we're gonna go NFL Easton.
Mhm.
Then we're gonna go snacks and candy. Then we're gonna go around the perimeter to
Yeah.
music, movies, TV, books, NBA, MLB, celebrity mashup.
All right.
So snacks,
Ready?
NFL, then snacks and candy, and then music. All right, here we go.
This AFC franchise was the last undefeated team in the NFL 3 times during the 2000s, starting with 13-0 in 05, 9-0 in 06, and 14-0 in 09.
It's got to be the Colts because it's not the Patriots because 2007 is when they went undefeated.
I think it's the Colts too.
I think it's the Colts.
Oh, gotta click on it. We feeling good? Yeah, people in the comments saying
Yeah.
it's the Colts. There we go. Snacks and candy. Similar to Dots, Tootsie sells this black licorice flavored gumdrop candy that features a black colored bird on its boxes. Is it something crows?
Oh, I don't know.
It's something crow. It's crow something.
That's a terrible name for a candy.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting, but I've seen it. It's chat, help me out here. Crow's feet or something? Crows. It's disgusting food.
Black
Black
Crows?
crows.
That's a band.
It is. Somebody has to like black
Crow's caps.
crow craps.
Crow
It's not-
crows.
there's no way it's crows.
It's
it
just crow? Is it just
crow? It's just crows. It's just crows.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Jeez.
Music featuring Nate Dogg. What 03 50 Cent song contained the lyric, "Girl, it's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still love me? Would you still have love for me?" Man, guess I'm not up on my 50 Cent. I have no idea. Chat, help me out. 50 Cent lyric from 03 featuring Nate Dogg.
21 questions. Yes.
21 questions.
21 questions. Yep.
Movies. Before he directed the 2000s Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy, this American director wrote and directed the 3 original Evil Dead films. Man, these are tough. Chat, we're leaning on you heavy today. Who directed the original Spider-Man trilogy? Oh, it's tough. It's really tough. Somebody come in clutch. Sam
Raimi.
I've heard of him. I have heard. Raimi. Sweet.
Okay.
TV. Running on Fox and Netflix from 16 to 21, this urban fantasy series followed a creature who had abdicated his throne as the Lord of Hell to become a Los Angeles nightclub owner.
Oh, God.
Oh, is this Lucifer?
I don't know.
I mean, that was a
No,
show.
I've never heard of this.
I think it's Lucifer. That was a show around that time on Fox, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yep. That's what Bork says. Jody, Andre, Sean, Caleb,
And
Josh.
So far, books. Considered a foundational piece of evolutionary biology, this English naturalist and biologist published this 1859 work of science fiction known as The Origin of the Species. Is this just Darwin? He was an English naturalist and biologist.
Is that the correct time frame?
I think so. Let's wait for the chat here. Can somebody confirm? I mean,
Charles Darwin, yeah.
What other naturalists are they expecting us
Yeah,
to
everybody
know
says
here at
Darwin.
Barstool? It's got to be Darwin. All right, NBA. One-time All-Star guard, won 2 NBA titles with the Celtics from 81 to 89 and played in the MLB with the Toronto Blue Jays from 79 to 81.
No.
Ooh, that is not my bag. All right, chat. What do we think? What are we thinking, chat? Who played in the NBA and the MLB in the 70s and 80s?
Oh, Danny Ainge.
Oh, I didn't know he played in the MLB. How about that?
Danny Ainge. That's a good pull.
MLB.
I thought Danny Ainge was older than that.
Mike Lowell earned World Series MVP honors for what team in the 2000s? Also not my bag.
Yeah, what? 2 baseball questions.
Yeah, it's brutal. Need Sam around here. Need Terry McCormick around here. He'd have these done in a heartbeat. Mike Lowell. Florida Marlins. Can we get a confirmation on that?
Yeah, we got a couple Marlins. Marlins had some good year. Oh, Miami Marlins.
Miami Marlins. Whoops.
Hold on.
I'll wait. Here it is.
And we go Marlins.
Marlins. All right. Marlins it is.
Oh!
Whoa. Man. I mean, hard to be mad because we didn't know.
Oh, dear.
Oh, the white hair is he's in every Chris Nolan film. He's the butler in Batman.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
Crap.
Very old, very good actor. Crap. And then the guy in the middle.
Michael Caine.
But who's the guy in the middle?
I don't know. Is it Caine with a C?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, who is this person in the middle? I have no idea. I mean, oh, is it the guy? Yeah, Gerard
Butler
plays all the mythology.
That's Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler. Yeah.
Okay, double dip. So we're in Red Sox.
Red Sox.
Yeah.
Man, we came so close to a perfect round. Not our best. Not our worst. Those were tough questions, to be fair. If we're grading on a curve today.
Yeah, they really were tough.
They weren't easy. All right, well, good show. Good stuff. Back at the Titans facility today, so, keep an eye out for some presser things. Maybe we'll find out the status on Will Levis, the guy that they've not given up on yet. We'll see.
We will see. All right, practice later. So content coming, A2Zsports.com/Titans. That's the best way to go. A2Zsports.com/Titans, because you get everything that Easton, Sam, and Buck write. Then you get all the videos from the press conferences right there on our website, A2Zsports.com/Titans. So we'll catch you guys later. Make sure you hit that like button on the show. Like the show before you go on Facebook and YouTube. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning on a Thursday. Buck live tonight for prime time. Appreciate it as always.